Hello, hello, hello. Is this thing on? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel. Bose 831 Gaming is live on Twitch. Welcome one, welcome all. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening or a day or whatever the time is wherever you are in the world. Bose 831 Gaming is live on Twitch in Farming Simulator 22 once again. And tonight, again, we're on the Elm Creek farm, continuing with our playthrough series on the Elm Creek farm. And we are kind of jumping in a little bit past where we last left off. And let me take a moment to get you up to speed on, because this time I've done quite a few things off camera to try to speed things up and expedite the process, and so that you're not watching me do each and every little activity. But first of all, let's go to the heads up display and show you a couple of things that I've done, off camera. First of all, I have purchased fields 53, 54, and 55. I have stone picked fields 53 and 55. 54 already had a crop on it, and I didn't want that crop to go to waste. And this field has barley on it, so I'm going to go ahead and work this field until we're able to harvest that crop. And then after we harvest the barley, we'll go ahead and do the additional work on this field, including the stone picking and all the other activities that we need to do to get this field up to speed. What I've also done off camera is I've done some weed work on fields 40 and 41, even though we're not anywhere near planting just yet, and on the combined fields of 47 and 48. And if we hop over to our precision farming, our environmental score, we can see that the work that I've done has upped the environmental score for these fields. My grass fields, which are always lagging due to the way precision farming works. But I've been able to increase my environmental score on the combined fields of 47 and 48 to a 95. I have an environmental score of 99 on field 41. I still don't know what's going on with the environmental score on field 40, but we can do some more work to try to figure out how to correct that issue on that field. And of course, as I just purchased fields 53, 54, and 55, there are some more things we're going to have to do to increase the environmental score on these fields. In fact, if we look at 53 right now, the nitrogen, pH value, and tillage scores and weed control all need work. The soil sampling is the only score on here that's maxed out, because after I purchased these fields, I immediately went ahead and purchased the soil samples, because that's something that I could do immediately to max those scores out. And I've done that on all three of these fields. And also, while we were off camera between streams, I went, and if we can go to our production change and go to our production warehouse, our pallet storage and logistics warehouse. Since we had one product that peaks in December, that was bread, we went ahead and sold all of the bread that I had available in my production. And as you can see, since I've sold it, we're already back up to another 5,000 liters of bread, but I did sell all of the bread. The bread was maxed out, and I've sold that. And since I sold the bread, we're already produced another 5,603 liters of bread. So, but I did sell bread off camera as well. And I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything else that we did off camera. I think that's about it. We've advanced the days. As you can see, we're on day 2 in December. I've already attended to the animals for today, so we're good to go there. So we can go ahead and advance to the next day. So we're going to go ahead and sleep and move onward to January. All right, so we slept the night away, and it's now a new month. And basically, the way you could think of it, because I'm running 2-day months, is you could think of day 1 as really day 1 through 15 of the month, and day 2 as day 16 through 30 or 31 of the month. All right. So right off the bat, we want to go take a look at our prices and see if we have any productions or crops that we're able to sell in January at the best price. We could sell barley, but I'm going to kind of keep barley on hand because that's what we use for our chickens, and that's not per se a for-profit crop at the moment. But once we produce more barley and we have, larger capacity, like probably over 15,000 liters, I'll go ahead and sell barley. But since right now we primarily use that for animal feed, we'll just keep that crop on hand. Also, looks like oat is up in January. Oat is used in our grain mills, so we won't sell that. We'll use that in production chains. Canola has the best price in November, but that's another crop we also use for our production chain. Soybeans. We have 12,000 liters of soybeans, but that won't be the best time to sell. That will be in June. Corn, same thing. It looks like, wait a minute, corn is at a great price in January. So, and we have 31,000 liters of corn, so we could sell corn this month. And let's see what shops offer the best price on corn. Looks like shipping corn to Goldcrest Valley for $989 would be the best price if we're going to sell corn. And we have 31,000 liters of corn, so we could sell all or some of our corn right now. And right now, that's the only crop that we can sell. There's not a production chain we have running right now that has corn as an input, so corn is okay to sell. With some of these others up here that I could sell, I'm using the barley for feeding animals, and these other two, oat and canola, are for my production chains. So we'll just hold on to those. All right, milk goes into production chains, and when we get a higher level of milk. Oh, that was the other thing I did off camera is I did provide some milk to my dairy production chain. The cows weren't producing it fast enough, so I just purchased some milk and went ahead and put that in the production chain so that we won't have any lags in production there. But once the cows kind of produce a little bit more milk and we start to get close to the max, I'll go ahead and use a liquid tanker and go ahead and move that milk over to the production chain. And then from that point forward, we shouldn't have to buy any more milk, because then between terms, the cows will be producing enough milk to keep my production chain fed on a regular basis. Let's see, straw. Use that for the animals. We don't sell that. See, bread, cake. Looks like we can also sell cake this month too. Butter is used as an input. Cheese is best sold in September. We don't have fabric or clothing production chain. Sugar is input. We don't have honey right now or cereal. And we don't have sunflower. We do have canola. and that's set automatically to sell. I think raisins and grape juice raisins are storing right now in the anticipation in the future that we will get the cereal production chain going, but there's a few things we got to do before we get to that point. And probably when we get to that point, that will be kind of like the coup de grace of this whole thing, because I want to eventually get to the point where I have every production chain going in this game that's available to me in the base game. You know, except for maybe the ones that have to do with lumber and wood, because at this time, until the game is kind of patched up and tweaked, maybe woodwork is not one of my favorite aspects of the game. Maybe we may look at that at some future date and time on another playthrough. I don't think I'll do any woodwork on this map and in this playthrough. Alright. Manure and slurry, and these are both used for animals and for the production chain to produce fertilizer. Same with my digestate. And we have lime that's produced from the rocks, from the rock crusher. So all those go back into my production chains or other processes that I do on the farm and on my fields. So the takeaway is right now we can sell corn and we can sell cake. So that's what we're going to do in just a bit. Let's go ahead and, first thing first, go ahead and take care of the animals for this month. Take some barley. And let's go feed our chickens. Sometimes the trigger for chickens can be quite temperamental, so you just have to get in that right sweet spot for it to pop. Alright, chickens are fed. Then we can move on to the next big thing. And since I'm using the TLX dumper, the next thing I usually want to move on to is all the crops that the dumper works best for. So we're going to go ahead and tend to our greenhouses. So let's grab some seeds and kind of drop those off to the greenhouses. And again, I'm not looking for my greenhouses to be perfect every time, but I do want to try to make sure that I keep them topped off as best that I can. And because of the way I have them aligned, and you can't see the trigger points, but this is still a more convenient way of doing it, having them lined up like this, because I still technically only have to make one pass to tend to all of the greenhouses. But it can be a little tricky knowing exactly where the trigger spot points are. But I've kind of figured now the trigger points are kind of close to where you see the little bags in front of the greenhouses are. And as long as I kind of hit those areas, that seems to be pretty close most of the time. Like I said, since the greenhouses are pretty full, I'm not going to sweat it too much. if they're not all exactly filled to the top or maxed out. But we're done there. And again, since I have the dump trailer on and we're using the modded greenhouses, the next input I want to go pick up is I want to go grab some manure, and we'll drop that off at the greenhouses as well. And as you can see, my cornfield is filled with weeds. But that's okay because we're going to have to plow over that field anyway before we can plant another crop in the corn crop rotation. Between every rotation, you have to, with corn, you have to plow. Alright, we have some manure. We're going to bring that back to the greenhouse. While I was doing some of this work off camera, just to kind of expedite the process just a little bit, I was kind of having some reservations about doing everything off camera. So that's why I decided not to completely do everything off camera, because the original thought that I had was to just skip through the months, the lean months where I don't have any crops to plant, just come back in on my live when it was time to plant. But after thinking about it, I was like, I didn't want to skip everything, so I decided to do some of those things off camera, and then we come in and do some of the other stuff on the live. I'm hoping that was kind of the best approach for those of you that are keeping up with my streams. But if you think I should do it another way, just let me know in the comments, and I'll make an adjustment when we go through the next season. But right now we're in the time of the year where, in the winter months, where there's not that much crop activity going on, and we're just mostly tending to the animals and selling the output from our production chains when they come up. But there's not that much crop activity during the winter months. Okay, and just hit 2 more points more or less in this area. And hopefully that should hit everything that we need to hit on this pass. And now we're done with the manure, and we can go back over to the manure pit extension and drop this manure back off. Actually, we're going to dump it into the mini BGA. And since the manure heap extension and the mini BGA are so close together, when I dump the manure back into the mini BGA, both points, or both silos, if you will have access to the manure. Another thing I was trying to do off camera, but thanks to some of the limitations of YouTube, I was not able to do it, as I was trying to put an extensive list of the mods that I use in this playthrough series in my description, but YouTube has a character limit in the items that you can put in the description, so I was unsuccessful in putting that list into the description box on my screen. So I'm sorry about that. I would, if you have any questions about what mods are used, when we're in game you can see some of it, but if you have any additional questions about a particular mod, just hit me up in the chat and I'll be happy to provide you with information on what mod you may have in question that I'm using in this series. And because I'm a console player, obviously all of the mods that you see in my games are all available in the mod hub, the Farming Simulator mod hub, in-game mod hub. So it's just a question of knowing what mod it is that you're looking for. And then once you have them installed in your game, then you could just select those mods that you want to use with whatever playthrough on whatever map you're using. A lot of players may or may not know that you don't have to use all the mods that you have installed in a particular playthrough. You can select or deselect which mod you want to use for a certain playthrough, even though you may have those mods downloaded to your game. But you, at the start of loading any map that you choose to play in the game, you can select what mods you want to use with that map. Alright, so now we need to provide water to our greenhouses, and once we do that, we'll be done. Alright. And I guess I might have missed one or two, because that one pretty much took most of the water that was in my tanker. But I may have skipped a day when I was doing my offline playthrough activities. I kind of might have forgot about, yep, the greenhouses. I forgot about the greenhouses when I was going through some of the days off camera. So the greenhouses are going to need lots and lots of water. Yeah. Look at that. They're taking everything I got. And this mod has a setting where you can set it at a realistic capacity or unrealistic capacity. If I had it set at the unreal capacity, that would probably speed this process up, but well, actually we can go ahead and do that now, just to show you what I'm talking about. Because we're gonna kind of still be going through some of these lean months, so let's go ahead and do that now. I won't be moving any digestate at the moment. When we do, I can just sell it. Alright, so let's hop out and go to the shop menu. And this barn is also a mod of the barn that comes with the map. And let's change it to the unreal capacity, which, as you can see, is increases the capacity to 60,000 liters. All right, and let's select A for customize. Yep. And the game won't charge me because I've already paid for that upgrade previously. So if I want to switch back and forth between configurations, I can do that for free because I've already paid for that configuration. So let's go fill up our water again. And this time we're just going to fill up to 60,000 liters. So that way, as we're moving through these days, it won't take as long as for me to go through the greenhouses. And looking at the calendar while we're waiting on that to fill up. See, we still got to get through January and actually February too, because most of the crops that we're running now are going to be in March. Although I still haven't decided what crops I'm going to run on the 53, 54, and 55 at the moment, even though 54 is currently running barley. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. Haven't made up my mind yet what I'm going to put on 53 and 55. All right, let's select water. And when we get to a point where the greenhouse needs water, it should start, the water level should start going down. There we go. All right, we'll get the sweet spot. All right, looks like we're all good there. So we won't be needing the TLX anymore at the moment. In fact, let's do it this way. All right, drop the tanker trailer off and put our dump trailer back on. We're done with this truck for the minute. And let's hop over to our TMR mixer. And get the cows and pigs fed. And then we'll take the horses for a quick jog. And that's the part that why I'm kind of motivated to try to do some of these things off camera, because I have the horses, and some of you might want to watch me ride the horses, but some of you may find the horses boring. But because I have the horses, that is one of my day-to-day activities that I need to do as well, is make sure I ride the horses. And that's why I only acquired 4 horses and did not do any more than that, because I didn't want to consume most of my stream time with you guys watching me ride horses. All right. The cows have their TMR mix. Now we gotta feed the pigs. There we go, pig food. And the pigs took quite a bit of pig food this time. I just need to double check quickly if we have pigs that are mature now and ready to be sold. In my experience, I found that the best time to sell your pigs is when they're around about 10 months old, if you're going to play that way. And that's the way I like to do it, is we'll go ahead and sell them off once they're about 10 months old, because there becomes a situation where the law of diminishing returns kicks in and you're not making as much money off your pigs because of how much feed they consume. But you definitely want to keep them around when they become adults due to slurry production, but you don't want to keep them too long. Of course, that's also relative to how many pigs you have on the farm as well. All right, pigs are fed. Next up is the straw. Okay, and straw turkey. And the only thing we have to need to be mindful of here is that if the blower stops, you still have to double check to make sure that it's not because the bale was exhausted. Because if the bale runs out, the blower will stop, but that doesn't mean that the cow's straw silo is full, because they still may have room on there, and sometimes you may just need to click on it again so the blower picks up another bale, and make sure that the straw is all the way filled. Alright, so we go to pigs now and do the same thing. And the same concept still applies. Sometimes if the bale runs out before the straw is filled, you may have to click on the button again and start the blower back up so you can still blow the remaining straw into the silo. But that's everything we need on this side of the world. The pigs and the cows are okay, so we can move on to our horses, and let's do a little riding. And one other thing I also did off camera is we went ahead and purchased a multi-fruit silo for the horse barn, and that we have that silo filled with straw. And so when horses need straw, I can just get it straight from that silo. And again, because I'm only running with 4 horses, the straw doesn't go down that fast, but when we need to have it, it's right there. I don't need a silo for oat because the main farm has oat in it already and has a silo that keeps all the grain, so I don't need that. But because I don't have a multi-fruit silo on the map, I had to place one on the map, and that it was easier for me just to put one near the horse stable. And the other reason why I did that is because the blower and any of the base game blowers, or even any of the modded blowers, they won't fit into the horse stable, so I can't drive any of my tractors or my blowers into the horse stable. So I needed something, some other way to get the straw into the horse stable. And so typically what I've been doing there is I just use the Mahindra or any of the small vehicles and bring the straw and the oat into the horse stable that way. But I try to do most of that off camera so you're not bored watching me do that with the horses. All right. That's one horse down, 3 to go. And I think I've said this before in another stream, but one thing I really do appreciate that Giants changed from FS19 to 22 as far as the horses is concerned is the time that it takes to tend to the horses and fill their riding need. And 19, it would take you a good 5 minutes per horse solid to fill the riding need, but thankfully they shortened it to about roughly about 2 minutes. And that's a big change, especially for us console players that don't have the ability to run the script or scripted mods that can automate the horse riding need for your horses, which makes tending to horses on PC easier. But on console we don't have that ability because we can't use script mods, and to that point there's not a mod in the mod hub that it can automate horse riding for console players, because it is my understanding that doing so requires a mod that has scripts built in. You have to get her up to speed so she can get out the fence. And then we'll do the same thing with our corn, because I think both of those were Goldcrest Valley was the sale point that has the best price, but we'll double check that in just a few. Alright, now this is a more proper ride, 50%, and head back to the stable, and then we'll be done with the horses for today, and we can move on to selling our cakes and our corn. Okay, coming up on 95%, 98%, and we just need to jump the fence and then break it on down. There we go. And now we could just clean the horses. Make sure everybody's clean and happy. All right. And we're done with the horses, so we can just jump right over to our TLX. And let's go grab one of my transport trailers. And we'll go with the largest of the two that I have, and that's the box it trailer by 82 Studios. And we'll go over to our logistics warehouse and grab some cake. Alright, we want to open our doors and then just kind of drive by and wait for the trigger to pick up the cakes. The one thing I gotta be careful of with these auto-load trailers is to make sure that when the next product pops in on screen, it doesn't overwrite what's already in the trailer, because if the product changes, yep, and we're already at that point. So I'm gonna have to manually move these out to the trailer, because we don't want the bread to overwrite the cake. But we do want to pull out as much of the cake as we can. Let's do this. Whoa. Okay. Don't have a Superman mod enabled, but I guess there's some magical barrier there that's causing me to go up in the air. I don't know what's going on. But we've seen that issue before, and I don't know what weird thing is going on with the game physics that causes you to do that sometimes. But it only seems to happen when you're carrying any objects. And I obviously have the liftable pallets mod installed, but if you wanted to do this the realistic way, you would yipes, missed that. You would obviously use a pallet forks. All right. And we can just put that bread back in the warehouse. We're not ready to sell that yet. But I think it's loaded up into the trailer right now. And then once we get the trailer loaded up, we'll take all of this product to the sale point. Whoop. And they're off. And I'm finding it kind of strange that we had bread popping in at first and now we got cake popping in. Like, and normally one product doesn't start, a different product doesn't start coming in until you've exhausted the previous product. So I guess we have a lot more cake in storage than I originally anticipated. So we just need to keep moving the cake pallets around until another product pops up, which will more than likely be bread, but we have more cake in storage than what's currently being displayed right now. See? And I don't know, again, what's causing me to go flying in the air like that. It's just really strange, a strange little glitch, a bug, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, and you can see, based on the boxes that are displayed in the trailer, we still got a ways to go, so the trailer has plenty of room for more product. So we're just going to keep this thing going until we get it all maxed out, and then we'll go on a trip to go selling. And with 15,000 liters, we can move quite a bit of product. In fact, I'm making this way too difficult. Let's see if I can kind of get it right in about here. Be very careful of that bread on the corner because we don't want to reset the whole thing and then lose everything that we have in there already. and you move up to it, you get to the point where it says start filling, and we want to fill it with corn. And we got all 31,820 liters in there. And so now we're off to Goldcrest Valley. All right, true believers, we're on our way. And again, I just want to sincerely apologize for these Twitch issues, the whole breaking up of the connection and disconnects issue is something that's been a new thing with Twitch over the last month or so. And I don't know why it's doing that, but it's a very frustrating issue, to say the least. But it's not anything that's in my control. It's all on the Twitch side of things. I'm really hoping that at some point in the not too distant future, maybe Microsoft will allow YouTube streaming or some other application aside from just allowing Twitch, because right now, since Mixer died, we have to rely on third-party applications to live stream, and I don't do Facebook like that. So for me, it's going to be Twitch, and hopefully in the future, maybe even YouTube. As you can see, the train has reached the other edge of the map, so I can sell the product, as you can see from the pop-up. And yes, we do want to sell, so we want to select A. And that's a cool $30,000 in harvest income with a $2,000 bonus for my environmental score. Alright. Good stuff. So now we're done here. And we're headed back to the farm. Sorry guys, but that's my brilliant driving kicking in, and that quirky bridge, because that bridge has some really unnatural bumps on it. That random disconnect issue throw me off my game tonight, but it's still something that I'm really not that happy about that continues to happen. At this point, I don't know if it's just an issue between Twitch and my Xbox or something entirely different, but I can tell you that it's not my internet connection for sure. Alright, but we're done with everything that we can get done today. We sold all the product that we can sell for today. We don't need to do any additional crop work, so we can move on to the next day. I want to go ahead and go to sleep and move on to day 2 in January. And look, we got some snow overnight. Just a light frost, not enough to cover the ground with snow. and because I'm not running a longer number of days, we're not going to be around long enough for snow to kind of settle on the ground for any significant period of time. What you will get the little frosted over look. If I was running longer days, and then you would see snow. And like I said, in the interest of time and everything, and just to kind of speed this whole process up between cycles, crop cycles, we're just going to go ahead and move to the next day and just double up on our yard work activities. But let me double check to make sure I don't have any jobs potentially that I might be missing that I need to do other than that. Yeah. And let me double check my other crops. Alright, growing, weed. What's going on? I'm not quite sure what that filter is showing me on 42, so let me walk over there and take a look at 42. Alright. Yeah, okay, so we did go ahead, we did kill all the weeds on 42, so 42 is good. And we can't do anything on any other fields now. What about my new field? 54 is... What is 54 needing? 54 is growing. No weed, just stones. Okay, so we're good. So let's just hop back over to the farmhouse and we can jump into the next day. Excuse me, not jump. Well, actually, yeah. We can jump into the next day without any other worries. Sleep yet again. And again, it looks like we got some more snow overnight. Those are still in the winter months. Yeah, it's still frosty. And you can actually see the snow is still falling. And just wanted to take a peek over there real quick. Alright, so we're in February now. And what crops are good to sell in February? Or products are good to sell in February? And again, ignoring what we have that goes back into our production chains. Soybeans won't be until June. And milk is going back into our production. Same with sugar cane. So we're just looking at other finished products. We already sold bread. We've already sold cake. Cheese is in September. Don't have fabric or clothes. None of these others. Canola is November. And grape juice is in February. Raisins we got that in storage. Until we get the sugar production going. I mean, not sugar, cereal production chain going. Alright, so that's pretty much it. And going back to our crop calendar, we are in the month. Well, if we wanted to do a cotton crop, we could plant cotton right now. And because I don't have any textile productions set up yet or any textile production buildings, I'm not gonna do cotton just yet. And plus, if you're gonna do wool, cotton works best when you have some really large fields to harvest and grow and harvest on. And I don't own any really large fields yet. With what I have in my bank account, we will certainly look at considering to do that, but I don't want to get into that right now. But while we're on the topic, let's kind of zoom out and check out what would be our options on the map if we want to go for one of the larger fields. The larger and est fields on this map are fields 7, 68, and 70, maybe to a lesser extent 69. Let's go crop types. Which one shows us the field info? Oh, let's do it this way. Go to farmland, and that'll give us a better view. Yeah, 68 is 8 hectares. 69 is 4.4. 70s is 8 as well. And those are your big boys. 57 is 4.8. So that's close to 5. And don't think there's anything else kind of in those same categories. Yeah, well, you got a few 4-acre fields. Although 32 is 6.58. 10 is 5.69. But those are quite a distance from the farm if we wanted to get those fields. 4.2. But don't really want to do cotton just yet, but maybe for future reference. We're just kind of going to expand our farm in bite-sized sections, even though we have more than enough money to do whatever we want to right now. But so looking back at the calendar, while I think out loud, while we have it, while we're on the live, we're gonna move where we can't because we still need to tend to our horses. In fact, I can't forget about that when I skip days. Yeah, I think I already did by mistake. Alright, so let's go to my horses. And let's see. Alright, health is still showing 100% 50s. Took a little bit of a fitness penalty, went down to 95%. But that's no huge deal. Alright, so let's go ride the horses out. And then once we do that, we're going to go ahead and advance today. And I'm going to tend to the animals after one more day. And, the animals and the greenhouses. But we're trying to get through this part of the calendar as quickly as possible, so we can get back to doing crop work. Yeah. Alright, and start to turn back around. Yeah, and I hate to keep harping on the same subject, but it's just really bothersome with what's going on with the live streams kind of breaking up from time to time and disconnecting and all of that weird stuff. Because it doesn't do it all the time, but it does it frequently enough where it's an issue. But I know it's not on my side, at least as far as my connection is concerned. Alright, 95, 97, and 8, 99. Ooh, shoot, excuse me. Alright, that's done deal. Next up. Who's next? They start walking around. I know I can check them. Alright. Come on, son. Yeah, the horse animations are nice looking, but they're still kind of clunky a little bit when you consider the way the horses look and feel and ride in games that have horses like Red Dead Redemption or even Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The game is great in a lot of areas, but it also has a lot of areas where it can use some improvement. And even though the upgrade from 19 to 22 is still kind of more an incremental leap than a monumental leap, it's still a pretty big leap from FS 19 and definitely FS 17. And FS 17 was what I started playing that kind of got me into the game. Microsoft Xbox has these free play weekends, and on those weekends you can download whatever games are featured. And one weekend that they were running that, Farming Simulator was one of the games that was available, Farming Simulator 17. And I took the opportunity to kind of try it out because to me that's kind of like, I'm an old school guy, I like the old school days of game demos. So I demoed the game, so to speak. I enjoyed it, and I was hooked from the moment I downloaded it and really started getting into it. And I've been a hardcore farming simulator player ever since. You may think about it, you know, like a game where you're just running equipment, harvesting, plowing, all of that stuff would be boring on its head, but it's actually a very stimulating and relaxing experience most of the time. Now, I'm also not going to sit here and say that the game's particular quirks and bugs don't also sometimes cause some annoyance, but the cons don't outweigh the pros when it comes to Farming Simulator 22. And that's what you see here. I'm playing on a console in 4K, but if you're playing on PC, you can even reach some graphical levels and fidelity levels that are very different from what you're looking at on this high-end next-gen console. And this game on its head is a beautiful, beautiful game. And it looks incredibly great even on this, quote, limited hardware, which is pretty much what all the consoles are, even the next-gen ones. And I know that will upset some folks that love this whole console war stuff and will defend their little special piece of plastic to the death. But my whole thought process on that is you game on whatever you want to. Whatever platform is the most convenient for you. It kind of, even in the farming simulator community, that stuff comes up a lot. Where the PC gamers, sometimes are looked down upon the console gamers, and it's kind of, in my humble opinion, just a really another dumb thing that people do, because people may choose to game on a particular platform, and they may have their reasons for doing that. And it's also just dumb to make the assumption that just because someone plays on console, they don't have a PC or the ability to play on PC. That just may be their preferred platform of choice for doing most of the gaming, which is kind of where the situation that I fall into is, I could definitely run it on my PC, but my PC is not a high-end PC, and I'm just not that invested in gaming on my PC, like how some guys are. I pretty much use my console for gaming and my PC for, for my work and other entertainment activities, including, watching streaming videos and all of that kind of stuff. But it's not my main gaming platform, although I do have games on there and I do game on it from time to time. But the type of games I typically play on the PC are more like strategy, real-time strategy games. All right. Well, once again, this has been a crazy stream night. Anytime we're doing a live, and it's one of those nights where the connection disconnects, that always makes it a lot more interesting. And I'm not gonna stop the show to kind of go back and look at when, how far into the stream we were before it dropped off. But I hope that we got enough of it. But I'm gonna check that after we finish tonight, and be another week of splicing together two separate videos. But I hope we had enough content to fill up the first hour tonight. Alright. And this is the only other drawback with these horses when they're walking around and you're trying to look at them and do stuff, and they're moving all over the place. Alright, that looks like everybody. Okay, I'm trying to see. What's that reproduction running? Alright, great. Looks like the horses are taken care of, so we can go back to the farmhouse, and now we're ready to move on to the next day. We're going to go ahead and move to day 2 in February, and then we're going to tend to everything. And let's see, we have a great demand at the debris crusher and feed and grain south. I wonder, let's take a look and see what product is the great demand product. Let's see. You're looking for the little blue icons. I don't see any. Oh, there it is. So the stones at the debris crusher. And what's the one at feed and grain? I didn't see that one. Because you know, one of the great demands is stone. No, I don't know what the other one is at feed and grain south. So that's interesting. All right. Well, let's get to work. And once we get into it now, at this part of the deal, this is probably where we're going to have to end it. Let's go ahead and start with our animals. Okay, chickens are fed. And we can dump the remaining barley back into the silo. And go straight for seeds. Alright, so let's drop off our seed. That's not correct. I don't know why we're getting that message. Let's wait for the trigger to pop. trying to find that sweet spot for dumping is very tricky. Alright, let's take a peek at our seeds, our greenhouses, and see what our situation is. And we definitely have a greenhouse or two, or at least one that's missing seed. Then we'll just go through each one of the greenhouses and try to see if we can pick up the trigger for the one that still needs some seed. And hopefully through trial and error we'll get to the one that needs some more seed. Alright, and just take a peek. That looks good. Alright, and we unload there. And refill seeds while we're here. Go ahead and do that now. And let's go grab some manure. on the roundabout, our cow and pig barns. And we're coming up to the manure heap extension. We're going to stop there, grab some manure. And we're going to need to fill up this time because I'm pretty sure we're going to need all of it. And because we still have the truck set at the unreal capacity, it took everything that we had in there. And that was one thing I forgot to do from earlier, is I forgot to set the dump trailer back to its normal capacity. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. So now it's fun with manure. Hopefully we're popping enough between these areas where we pick up the triggers for each of these greenhouses. But after we're done with this pass, I'll double check it. Looks like about right there. That's a tricky little process. And again, just go through and check the greenhouses to see what we're looking like. And we got, once again, one unit that's does not appear to have received a full supply of manure. So we'll just come back through one more time and hopefully we'll get lucky. Normally I wouldn't worry about topping them all the way off, but that much contents has been used. I want to make sure they're filled or close to filled. The longer you wait, the more you're going to have to refill at some certain point in time. Hopefully that got it. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So we can take the remaining manure back to the BGA/silo. All right, everyone. We're coming up on the end of the stream, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching, and being patient with me through these troubles that are somewhat out of my control. And I try to catch the drops when they happen, but sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. You catch them quickly, and sometimes you don't. But not either case, I appreciate your support. I want to thank you for watching, and if you want to keep up with me, I'm Bose831 Gaming on Facebook, Bose831 Gaming on Instagram, Bose831 Gaming on Twitter, and of course Bose831 on Twitch. Like and subscribe to my videos. I do post these live streams up on YouTube, and they're, for the most part, in their entirety. So continue to like and subscribe on whatever platform you're viewing my content on. And again, just thanks for watching. Thank you for your support. And everyone have an awesome night. Like I always say, if you're not having fun doing what you do, then what are you doing? Continue the game on. Thanks for watching.